Okay, just a mic. Good evening, good evening. So I want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Alfonso Zian. So right here this evening, behind the microphone, we want to welcome all of you here. And so let's do a quick housekeeping here. Let's recognize our folks here. Well, it's a Goosey, Mark Flomo, Amos George is here, Andrew Wallace is here, Tamame Sanon, right there from UK. Good to have you here, Sanon. Bush Tatet, James, good to have you here. To Mayfield Deco, marching in. You're going to be taking care of the Mayfield this evening, James Blight, Atman Saliv, Walton, Samuwulut. Hopefully, I'm doing it the right way. Jeremy, good to have you here. Mike Kikant, Isaiah, good to have you here. And all of our great folks. Just do us a favor and hit the share button and invite someone to your company very shortly. The analysts want to be here. And we will be having international conversations, including you, obviously. You're going to form part of today's conversation as well. We intend not to leave no one behind in our conversation here. And I'm Alfonso Z. And so, to the Library Public Radio and Lpr-Tv, whatever you are, you're watching, we say, good to have you here. Without you, okay, Mr. Thompson Jai is in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Good to have Minnesota in the house. If you can just locate your locations as well. Achibidel Edward is here. Good to have you here. Folks, welcome to the show, and I'm Alfonso Zienso will be your chief moderator here this evening, and I promise it promises to be a good one. The analyst is going to be here. Where nobody phone battery on purpose deliberately I will be saying that my battery is about to go dead because you do not agree with me. I'm not going to call anybody's name, but they know exactly who we are talking about. Oh, watching from Bojiwant. Where is that? Edward, where is that? Watching from Bojiwant tonight. I'm interested. It says in Liberia. My guess here, but whatever it is, thank you so much. Boyka Keziliat Boyka and Stan SB is in the house. Good to have all of you here this evening. So let's get a ball rolling very shortly. Barson District, my goodness, my Barson District man is in the house. You are the king of this program here tonight. We want to dedicate this program, this entire program, to you inside my district, inside Barson District. Joining us here this evening from Whoa. Okay, I thought so, but I didn't want it to be too precise before I hit the wrong mark. But thank you so much. We value your time. And this is why we always, when we come here, we want to have a conversations of substance because people take off their precious time to use their makeup by, use their internet, whatever it is, to come to this national conversation. And so it is important that when we come to this national table here, we discuss the issue, not just to entertain, but to be informative, very precise, not to manufacture news because we want to have attractions. And so tonight here, the old man is not in charge, interestingly. So your liberty will be restored, that I guarantee, because you will speak out openly, freely, fairly, without any interruptions. That's the good thing. And that's the beauty of this network. We want to welcome all of you right here this evening. And thank you so much for being here. Let's get a ball rolling here so that we can get this program going right here, right now. I am Alfonso Z and so of the Liberal Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. Thank you so much. Let's get the ball rolling right here, right now. Okay, good evening, good evening. Good to have you here. Let's get a ball rolling here. So we will get this program on the way. Do us a favor, just hit the share button and invite someone at your company. I am Alfonso Z and Salt of the Liberal Public Radio and Lpr-Tv will be host here as a lead angle in tonight's editions, this Friday edition. Thank God your liberties are seized by the liberal progressive on this network, who on purpose, because he does not want to get the other side of the political spectrum, he and his followers, I'm talking about I'm not going to go there with him to get to our followers, but I'm talking about some of his analysts that are on this network who are doing everything possibly they can to liberalize this network. That will not happen. There are two independent voices on this network, and they think they're going to sideline us. And when he comes on his program, when he's out of words, guess what? He take on our name. The guy is very interesting. The very things that he frowned on other people are doing, those are the very same thing. Those are the very same thing. And he would throw all of the monkey wrench the kitchen sink. And I'm going to be illustrative and expose him who he is. Because he always come on this network and he said he's involved. And that's been someone who is not stable. It's all about himself. After having a show yesterday, and he took on me, and that he thinks that I'm going to be like him, who is not objective, who is very biased, who has declared his public support, which is okay. But guess what? When you are from the other side of the political eye, his phone deliberately die on purpose and say, oh, XYZ is calling. But when you call and speak his smoking gun conversation, he gave you praise, he cheers you up. That's not our job. That's not what we're supposed to be doing. We should make conversation fair, balanced, and proportional. The liberal went to the extent and would crucify last night after all his tabata, assisted by the Reverend or whatever from Minnesota, Terry Collins, telling us without giving our day in court and render judgment on us as to what are going to be our views and our opinion. I want you to watch this to see and listen to the liberal argument. I don't know where he came from with that and how he got to that conclusion. I speak my honest mind always, not necessarily to appease you or something that you want to hear. But this was deliberate in one of his ridiculous mood yesterday on this network, putting us on the cross to crucify us in our absence, and being the sister facilitated by his man Terry from Minnesota. Let's watch this and see. That's deliberate in his closing argument.
I'm going to be the moderator. You'll be here, and come in tomorrow. This conversation will continue. Come in tomorrow and hear the conservative view. Hear this far right view on this tomorrow. There will be some of them that will say, throw them in jail and throw the keys away. Don't even talk to the Supreme Court. There will be people tomorrow Come on tomorrow and watch Mr. Shaw, Mr. So, Dr. Mallett, and Mr. Amos George with your ridiculous view tomorrow. And I will be here as a counterweight, because they will tell us tomorrow that these people should have known better. And the fact that they believe that they have stolen from the government, therefore, throw them in jail and throw the keys away. And the liberal will say, not too fast. These people, until found guilty, until their case has been adjudicated, until the judiciary system has taken its toll and has come to the conclusion that yes, these people are guilty, they're going nowhere, and you're throwing no keys nowhere. Samson told the liberal. That's what I'm on this show for. That's why I enjoy my position as a liberal, because I'm not going to let people come and run us over. Whether we voted for this government, we campaign for this government, we're not going to let the government to run us over. We're not going to do that. I'm a liberal. I'm involved. Whatever the situation is that is in the interest of the Liberian people, I'm with that. Once again, I will say thank you very much. Thanks for coming. It's been a wonderful, wonderful evening.
There you have it. I bring it to you in real time. The analysts have assembled. We're going to have a conversation here in the open contest, giving everyone, each one, the opportunity to call in wherever you are. And we are not going to be like the liberal in his monkey wrench, in doing those falsehood, indicting us for no reason. My phone battery don't die on purpose. My phone battery does not determine who, what to speak, what not to speak. All we require is civility. Amos George is joining us from Atlanta, Georgia. He's a senior analyst of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. His name was mentioned in the fries, but he doesn't listen to me. I told him about the behavior of the liberal on this network, but he doesn't listen. So he and myself too, somehow, some way, we're going to see. Let's see let's see another Washington, what our position going to be like. Koto Jalabalayan is based in New Jersey and is a senior analyst of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. He's one of the Washingtons on this network as well. Those are the recruits of the liberals. They all, into this year. Emma George, good evening to welcome. I believe she's still busy in the background there, but we're going to get her in. As soon as I get a signal, I believe she's okay. Good to have you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't. You saw the liberal last night, right? He didn't know that we're going, because when this guy, he watched to see who tweets and what sort of praise they gave him, that he turned like a loose cannon and says whatever he wants to say, like anybody, and he's telling us, trying to demonize us to the great people up here. But that's not who we are. We always speak and stand for principle. Welcome to the show. Good to have you here, and hopefully he can come and defend himself as well. Well, Ella Blight, good to have you here, joining us from the Constitution States of Connecticut. Koto, are you there with us now?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, good evening. Good to have you here. One of the press boarding issue here the last 2-3 days got with other family stuff here, but it's this whatever or so-called access recovery, which I feel there was no roadmap, there was no strategic plan, enough was saying done in as much. People who purposely looted government resources, there must be a process. There must be a channel to kind of like prosecute it, because you don't want to go and see what the Supreme Court is doing here. And I know we're going to have a different view on this here. And I hope the liberal will come here, because the thing is, you are really spoken to. He didn't do that. Instead, he brought us into the fray. I'm not in Liberia. I don't get no yellow tax here before green tax here. But the liberal decided to crucify us. But that is okay. Good evening, guys. Good to have you here. Too much is ongoing. Amos Joyce, you're one of the news freak like myself. What is going on in that country? What is happening now?
I saw the arrest of Honorable Musa Bello's son for illicit drugs and in possession of a firearm, and he's been detained. And Mr. Ford has been suspended.
Hmm.
The National Bank, he was in charge of foreign
Currency.
yeah, he has not been suspended by the president, and the president said he should submit himself for investigation.
Investigation.
And
Well,
then it is this asset recovery.
asset recovery. That's one of the press button issue here.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Guardian Center there and see what is in the portfolio. What is really catching that is politically. I mean, the drama is. I was talking to I chatted and I had a conversation with one of the folks on the asset recovery. I'm trying to be a little. I want to be diplomatic, so they can come here and accent the real question. But I'm not going to call it. I'm not going to call his or her name, whatever it is. That's the case. So let's go to Garden said it. Good evening, madam.
Good evening, Mr. Soul and Mr. Josh. How you doing? And the people of Liberia around the world, I want to say hi. And those that are watching this show and will be coming to watch this show today, I want to say hi to all of you.
Okay, so they say they're collecting government properties in Liberia.
Yeah, the thing about it is, we promised the Liberian people that when the president Joseph Yuma gets into power, these were the things that we promised, that we make sure that what belongs to Liberia is given to Liberia, and those that are corrupt and will be stealing government property will make sure to retrieve all of the assets for Liberia. So we are trying to do that. I think what you earlier said, the process may look or may sound somehow different, but again, the promise made to the Liberian people must be adhered to, and we have to make sure to meet up with our promises.
Here we go. The promise made to the Liberian people. This is a great political tone coming from Koto Jalabalayan. The promise made because they are doing everything possibly they can to fulfill their political promise, which is also good. Politicians, this is what they like to do. But we are a country of law and order. The country is not. We are not in a Sabibo land. We have the three branches of government. I believe they are functioning with different auxiliaries, with different responsibilities. They all coordinate to execute and enforce the laws of the land. So, Amos Joyce, let me just bring you in here. So, you listen to Koto. What the promise is, what they are trying to do. So, it's a matter of a compulsion. We have to do it. We told the Liberian people we have to do it. Are we doing it the right way? That is the bottleneck question.
Let me say it. Some of us are proponents of accountability.
Oh, I didn't send. Sorry. Okay, Mr. Goya. If you didn't, let me send it back. If you don't get a link, I think I sent it. I will just send it back. Go ahead, Mr. George. I'm sorry.
Some of us believe in accountability, and this is once more continue to speak on. But in this accountability, there are procedures that people must follow. Liberia is not a Haiti today because there's no government in Haiti, and everybody fighting for themselves there. Liberia will have a president. So those who have been put in charge to retrieve government property, you should also remember to do it within the confinement of the law of Liberia, regardless of who you're going after. But it should be based on law. What I expected these people to do was to do recovery. One, they
check your link. I'm not sure why it didn't come, but I sent it to everybody again.
Sorry. They got all the great people who can do research. Why they didn't do the research first? That is, go and get all the vehicles that government brought into the country from 2018 if they want to. Get a list of those vehicles. You will find the VIN number. Everything will be there. List it up. If you can get it, there's a source that brought in the vehicles. Some vehicles were donated by a foreign government. You can contact the embassy. The embassy will provide you this information, because I know Liberia is full of criminality. Some people took some of the documents and will destroy it. So it will be hard you cannot get them. Second, make a public pronouncement that, look, from this time to this time, if you are in possession of any government property, just return it to this point. After this time, we'll begin an inspection of vehicle applying the street. So everybody, if you have a vehicle, make sure you put a copy of your document in it. So when we pull you over, you show your documents, and we'll go to our list to compare, because we don't want to inconvenience people just start people abruptly. So these are the fundamental things they should have done. But they didn't do it. They jump in the street, stopping cars. Now, what is the authority that you have to just go and impound somebody's car? You can't do that. There must be a cause. The information should have been put out there. At this time, we'll start doing inspection of vehicles. So if you are coming into the street, please make sure you have a copy of your document there. So you'll be approached by the team. If they pull you over, show your document, and if you find out that the vehicle is not listed, you go on. But it was like there are boys caught. You can't do like that. Even if someone has stolen property, they still have rights under the law. So why in that much we want this asset recovery team? I think Councilor Martin Clark is a lawyer. These kind of things are not supposed to happen on his watch. He's a lawyer, has a vast experience. He has gone out of the country, training, and he himself has said it. So the kind of missteps should not be happening on his watch, because then it becomes a distraction to the team. Okay? So for me, I'm fully for it, going after government assets, but we won't do it in alliance, in accordance with the law. Because in order to just take someone's car from their car in the street and put them out and just say, oh, this is that, and then you come back and say, oh, the member of the document, no. Let the public be informed. And let me say this, and you see, this is why we say we don't want this kind of thing to continue. CDC did the same old thing again when they were in power. So since we are coming, the rescue mission to correct it, we can't do the same. They did the same to some people when they took over. I think this ball Monova, Pia, all these people were put down from the car. So, but we can't come and do the same thing what people are doing, because you people came out to correct the mistakes. So you can't do the same old thing. And not just I want to say the recovery thing. I'm for the recovery thing, but I think the very thing they started.
The liberal fans are coming in. The liberal fans, and when I see 1 Minnesota surface, another one follow. Sooner or later, the liberal himself. Sensei Goya is saying the guy who led the submissions campaign here, and up to this time, we keep talking and talking. I tell you talking now. Anything, I would just be directing phone calls to him. Mr. Goya, good evening. So welcome. Let's bring in one of the liberals.
Right. Very fussy, and I would just say hello to Pat George, the fussy old man, and my sister. But you're trying to create problem, and you must have not get inside of that.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see eventually. We'll see. It's getting to be more serious. The Boasians are coming. The Boasians are here. Here come another Boasian.
Yeah, I'm using another device.
Okay, yeah, all right. If you said it, I will bring you in. Yeah, okay. Mr. Goya, good evening. Welcome. Mr.
Yeah.
Collins.
Hey, hi
Yeah,
everybody.
no,
Hey, Terry. I'm sorry
yeah.
I've been gone in silence. I have been moaning, so I didn't want to be on Facebook. Though I've been a little bit present, but my brother, Mr. Soul, lost a brother that's also a brother of mine. You know how we don't understand sometimes how we all interconnected. Some of these things happen. Mr. The elder Jerry Zia that passed is the church, the chairman of the board of my church.
Wow.
Thank you. And he's one old man who has always mentored me lightly and then brought me in. And he was always fond of me. Like every time we're in a meeting, when I said stuff, you say, "Cizi, I need you. Cizi, I need you. I need to do this." So to honor him, I have been absent from the talk shows. I have been wanting to find my own way to heal. Um, it is a deep cut. I want to let everybody know it is a very deep cut. He was not my family, but he was an elder who treated me like family. And so I don't talk a lot about my religion on Facebook, but I'm a Christian, and my church is grieving, and so that was why I have been away. I wanted to honor him in a special way. I come from a Catholic background where during Lent you give up something that you love. And so, in honor of my papa, I gave up something that I really love, which is just show. That was why I have been away. But it's nice to be back on. And my deepest condolences to you, my brother, Mr. So, Elder Jerry. Take your crown, man. Rest well, King. But I'm here. I'm ready. And then, of course, to my old brother, the scholar. I got it right here.
Gerald. You know,
The
this whole
legend.
thing has helped me out. Not
Oh,
all the
you
time.
got to. Lpr-Tv authors. Lpr-Tv authors. So I'm back. It's nice to see all of you. Let the Tabata begin. Yama Friday. I'm here for it.
Is that how you're going to end it?
Sympathies. But is that why you are now wearing the Imam hat tonight? Because I don't know.
No, you see, like trouble. The Imam hat comes at a certain point. And for full disclosure, MCSS has a new superintendent.
There we go.
The new superintendent, I reached out like I did for the old superintendent and offer support.
He's starting his campaign again.
No. He actually responded and said he needs my help. He is open to whatever support we can provide. And his communication director has been personally in contact with me. And we are hoping to offer the help that we said we're going to offer. So for now, it looks like a good starting place. The guy looks like he wants to listen and he wants all of the help that will come. So we will provide those help, and when the mistake, we'll hold him accountable. But for now, I got to put in a space to be open to everybody and say, this is a person I've reached out to. He's responded. He sent me his phone number. He's excited that he wants us to partner and collaborate to move MCSS forward. So that is the news. That's why you don't see me posting about MCSS lately. When they fall down, we'll come back again for them.
Is the website up?
The man know what you did to get the other guy also he a friend. He got to take on necessary precaution.
Yeah, Sissy, thank you so much for that. You know, the society is a very small society. There are so many ways people can get connected, and you guys can become like a family. Now knowing his church and our late brother, father, uncle, they are of the same church. Guess what? The other day, your wife came, and it was like, "Oh, you're not coming to the house." You know, I didn't tell that man. It's just an emergency trip. But I also want to recognize who's talking in the background.
Mr. Bacon.
Gary, back on. We are here.
Yeah, no, hold on.
So let's just get you off here. You know, we can do that for our audience. So, Terry, let me just say this again. I want to thank you so much. I mean, it was very, very. When I go there, that's what I go. Then when it was just like overnight stuff. But you guys kept calling consistently, and he made his way to come. This is what friendship, this is what familyship is all about. But that does not negate the fact that you and myself going to be on the same page with stuff here. Let me just tell you now, not because You can't speak, and we sit down, we do all kinds of things. You were liberal on
So
your.
you refuse to take the bribe.
Oh, no, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna. If that what the liberals send you for, then for all serious, I want to say thank you
Okay.
so much. I mean, this is
Yeah,
what we
man.
will be coming back there at the end of April to lay our brother, our uncle, our father to rest. And I think this the level of support, the sort of rally that I saw in Minnesota, man, it's unbelievable. The house all day, people food coming in, people coming in, church, the sort of
Cali
conference.
people don't juggle.
That's you.
Mhm.
Cali people.
Yeah. But NCC say he Cali, so maybe the Cali
Well,
support, they can really support one another.
Mr. So, the people in Bon County, they got one parole.
Probably
They
not
say,
again. Bon
if
what?
they say, if someone is good, you know the day they die.
Hmm.
That's it. When someone good, the day they die, you will know. Because the people you will see coming around, you will know it's
Right.
all. That's it.
Okay, let's get a ball rolling. Not everybody, the people are here for Liberian people business. We're going to do all of that. Terry, good evening. Welcome
Good evening, Mr. So, and to the panel. Good evening and good afternoon for the Friday.
for the Friday. I heard you last night with your patron, the Liberal Progressive, and you were in the background giving justification, quoting laws that we do not know where you gather that law, whether from the playbook of the liberals, you have formed your own doctrine for which you want to establish like a sort of empire on this network. But we are doing everything possible to cut through that corridor and do not allow it to exist because it's dangerous for our society. Let's quickly hear, and now in the interest of fairness, let me hear from you. What is in your political playbook this evening?
By the way you just attacked me that then you say, what
Oh,
is in your political playbook? I'm not shocked. But
I just want to energize you so you feel free to unleash as well.
all right, but you won't put me in Celine Dion already.
No.
But anyway, I was reading on Amara post today, and I just sent it in the chat room wherein he was highlighting the past of President Weah government when he instituted the asset recovery team as well. And Amara Conan kind of a bit trying to advise that the government should take the right procedure, blah, 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 and all of that. So I thought that was hilarious to me because for you to be able to for you to be able to recover asset in Liberia, you can't be pampering the matter because there are a lot of ways, there are a lot of people in Liberia that will not listen to you. And I don't understand. But anyway, that is his thing. But I think Amara Conan is a bit saggy and he's kind of lowering down his momentum because, again, his expectations are not being met, adequately the way we expect because Amara is a money man.
Who are you, may we?
Well, and when I say we, I'm speaking to the group of people in my category that believe that have like mind with me.
Okay, I'm not part of that. I'm not in that category, so that's what I'm concerned. But go ahead.
Yeah, so Amara is trying to express himself, but I think that he's not fully coming forth with what position he want to take. He want to criticize the government, then he want to also pretend like to say he giving an advice. So I think Amara have already taken a position already because I've been listening to him consistently in recent time. His position have been against the system for which he brought to power. So I am beginning to understand that Amara is leaning to the opposition. All right. So obviously, I will not take his advices seriously anymore. That is just my position.
So I'm going to pivot and go to the other folks. She said he leaned into the opposition. Is it because of his honest or his views, his opinion on how he feels government is running? Perhaps it's not what he voted for, is not what he championed, Now you try to stigmatize him now that he's now on the other side, correct, Jerry?
Well, I would not like to use the harsh word stigmatize because every Liberian have the right to choose a side. That's your political right legally. So I think, in my opinion, I'm just saying that I think his expectation was greater than what he expected, and things are not really going the way he really expected because the likes of Amara, we know Amara in our society under Madam Shirley. We know the role he played. We know some of the shenanigans that went on. And he has admitted that, oh, we're not perfect. When you hear a Liberian man saying we're not perfect, it means that you must not consider the shenanigans that they did in the past. You should not attribute it. You might allow them to hide the shenanigans and let them speak on the issues that is unfolding presently, which is also precise. But the likes of Amara that brought us to this place to where we are is now pivoting gradually and in pretense, like to say he's still with the rescue mission. That to me is deceptive.
Deceptive. Like I'll be compelled to bring in Sissy Goyot, Emma George, who your piece. I'm not sure where the Moja guy, progressive, Dr. Jones, and hopefully maybe you can text your man Lebron. The Lebron will not show face here because we hear this event. All that thing you were doing tonight, the cow here on the Let me bring in Sissy. I'm not sure I asked you what's your side or what's your what is in your playbook, but you listen to Terry. If you want to, you can respond to that. But let's hear from you. What is sort of fascinating in that world public discussions with all of these things that are ongoing? Let's hear you. What's your concern?
Well, lately I've been on a political hiatus. I've been away from politics for a little bit. What I've been listening to has been Tabata to get me through my grief. So I've been listening to Bridesmaid and doing buffet groundhole in Minnesota. Bridesmaid taking the other person's husband, and the other man, he got juju, so the juju leg. That thing that we follow away. I just talking about own. You have asked me a question. I just talking about own. I have completely unplugged myself from politics, and I have just been in Tabata. Like I've been swimming in Tabata. And I just been buffet groundhole, that small thing. Then I start asking myself, how come I want the bridesmaid in him even like I missed a second way? But anyways, let's move for that before my wife can take me for this show here. Man, I don't know how to be back. I will respond to Terry in a little bit. But one thing that I've been actually doing since I've been off is I've been going back to thinking about how can we rethink, revamp, reimagine the Liberian educational landscape. Because for me, I'm not happy with you did it before.
Oh, it's behind that. Somebody.
That you did it before.
Yeah, can you? Okay, then mute. Maybe
on another device or on the same device.
No, somebody talking. But
that you did it before, or where were you? I think that does not carry Liberian forward. Just because yesterday somebody did wrong, that today they lost their Liberianness and their right and authority, or their intellectual ability to tell you what you're doing wrong today is the problem I got. That will not move Liberia forward. And that's the reason we got Saul becoming poor, because we allow him to say something about stuff that he did bad that was wrong. But we can't do that for our people. So what I've been doing, these are books I've been reading, Liberian authors. And how can we get them into Liberian school system? How can we change the narrative? This is John Yomi, right? Liberia in a Colorful World, Diplomacy. This is another Liberian author, Blood Brothers. This is Michael Jensen and Benjamin Kwazo Zan. This is written by my former pastor, the Reverend Dr. Francis Tabla, right? How to Work Your Work. This is written by Josiah Jokai. These are all on Amazon. These are Liberian writers. Whispers in Africa. This is a collection of poems. And this is African Women Connect. This is by Rita Apollo, right? This is the book that got my brother to run away to Sierra Leone, right? Ava Tukpa. This is the book that he wrote about the president. And
why do you want to add that one, sister?
Man, this is Liberian writers. I am an intellectual. I read all books. This is the book by the legendary the famous intellectual Kai Willett. If you haven't gotten this book, get it. I'm already in the middle of this book. Look, I'm saying all of these things not because I want to plug in these people, but if we are thinking about how we reimagine the liberal education system, yes, Team Fall Apart is great, but so is Murder in the Cassava Patch. How are we going back to leverage Liberian authors, Liberian writers, Liberian intellectuals, and get them into Liberian classrooms? So for me, you know, I'm changing my perspective a little bit. The likes of Amara Kone, if they did wrong yesterday, it doesn't mean that whatever they say today, we can't look at it. I am even willing to listen to a George Weah. I listen to his speech. I would take the sense out of it. Yes, he didn't do it. That's why we voted him out. But he has now lost his Liberianness and his right to participate in the process. So for me, I'm really bothered about this opposition and position and imposition thing. I think at some point we have to pivot to asking the nucleus question. And this question has to be, what is really important to us? What is best for Liberia? In my leadership role in Minneapolis public schools, the one question I ask all my teachers and principals when they come to me with change, I ask, how does that help our scholars? I think we need to start reframing all of our things in how does it help Liberia, not how it helps a particular political party or a particular political ideology. If it helps Liberia, we shouldn't care where it's coming from. Can we make it move forward? And that's the reason I show all of these authors. These are great Liberian authors. These are Liberians, and their books are not in Liberian schools. But we are reading, you know what, we are reading people from the Rift Valley. So for me, my perspective is different, and I don't mean to be disrespectful.
The Mali Empire. We don't even know about our own country. And
different. Like for example, right now I'm reading on the Mandinka people and how they came from the Mali Empire, Songhai Empire, and how the Loma people are a derivative of the Mandingo people. Because if you don't know that you came from Mandingo people, you talk nonsense about Mandingo people. Sorry for the language. But if you understand where your roots are coming from, you will be very critical and careful on how you address them. And so for me, there's no government. I'm reaching out to everybody to work with them and say, look, can we change our focus? It does have to be a zero-sum game. We don't always have to have an opposition and an imposition. My question is, does it move Liberia forward? If it does, I really don't care where it's coming from. I don't care if it comes from George Weah. I don't care if it comes from Molba Molu. And I don't care if it comes from Alexander Cummings. I don't care if it comes from JMB. Is it going to move Liberia forward? Yes, let's work on it.
Okay, I think the House is in for the most liberal with a divisive politics is here. I say in his absence, and I will say because I think 4 of his people here, the Minnesota wing, the New Jersey wing, my own city, Rhode Island wing.
Although just so you know, are you talking to a New Jersey wing? Or if you know the America city, let me just interpret it for you.
So how much you're going to give?
I know I don't want from New Jersey here. So
how much they're going to give you for that? Saying you were looking for interpreter job now in the federal court.
Yeah, but I can't understand why you just attack the liberal. The liberal is entitled to his view. I mean, when he says what he says, he knows what he said. Sometimes I listen to liberal, he go against the government, he come by again, but that's his view.
He's involved.
So everybody entitled, you get ready and say what you want to say. Nobody attack you.
The politician or she finding friendship on my own.
That's not friendship, you know. That's the reality. I heard him talking about even Amara. Amara has a political ambition.
Who, me?
No, I heard that was Terran mentioned about Amara. Nobody ambition for politics. So you will see he will flip flop. He doesn't want to take a side to say, "Oh yeah, I was on this side." So you will see that in many of the people that have the political ambition. So just to clear that air up, they will, because they don't want to say, "I was part of the government," or they want to say, "Oh, I used to advise," and they want to low bright. That's what it is.
Okay,
Right.
I understand this sort of rescue here is there's an extension, there's other portions of this whole rescue mission, so it's understood. Thank you so much. The Liberal Progressive, good evening, welcome.
Good evening, Mr. So. Thank you. It's a wonderful time. Folks, final panelists, good evening to all of you.
No. Well, the house is in full, so we will try to be succinct in our analysis and our point. Mr. Jerry Bacon is here. I don't know whether you were waiting for the Liberal to come in so that he will be situated. That's okay. I think Dr. Jones is going to be joining in. Amos George is here. Okay, guys, let's have a conversation. Time is fast spent. I think Sissy just ended his point. Let's go to who? Amos George?
No, Cotto.
Oh, you don't already, right? You see, this is what the fairness is. The Liberal would never.
Unless you go drink mini maid, and no go so you gotta go to Koto.
Koto, are you there with us? Or you?
We'll rebrand, we'll recalibrate.
Oh no, I think she's talking. Okay, then let me come to Jerry back on when she comes with it. Jerry, good evening, welcome.
Oh, sorry, Mr. So you are talking to me, right?
Yeah, okay. Let me come back to you. You are the only princess on this network, but it doesn't mean you're gonna get away with any Tabata as well. So yeah, let's hear you.
You know the thing about Liberia, we yearn for change. Everybody won't change. How well do we want the change implemented? Is where we are. We cry, we want war crime code. As soon as they talk about war crime code, no, it's not time yet. We want asset recovery. As soon as they start taking the initiative, no, that's not how it should be. I mean, I just can't understand us Liberia what really we want. Okay, I understand that there are some steps to be taken, but again, we have record of some of these people that have the Liberian people asset. If they don't get it from them, it is the right agency that is dealing with it, GSA. So if GSA is handling the issue, who else should handle the issue as they claiming it's not the right way? I understand that they have to go through court proceeding, but if you have record of these things down that you have to take a stand, why don't you do it now and then follow up on it later? So I see we want change. It's like we all say we want to go to heaven, but we don't want to die. That's why I see it here. If we don't start the process now, when are we going to start the process? Because I have my friend, I want to protect my friend. The other person want to protect their friend. I understand that people were in power, they want to maintain that their leadership role or their position. But again, if you want to maintain your position, they declare this. Send the people asset over. If you can't send it over, what you expect?
I have to stop you now because I thank God the Liberal is not in charge, and so there will be no way you, Terry, and Jerry back home. You're not going to get away. And I mean, most likely ask Sissy because he's one of those. Sometimes he flips and movie about. I will skip Sissy and Amos George in my column for now. Look, Koto, do we have a country of a law? Do we have a functioning government system in the country where people civil liberties are? I am a guy who does not believe government should intrude into my own personal. However, the government intercedes is the umbrella of everything here. But are we saying this process here? Let's turn this light off, and for the good of the country, nobody is against assets recovery. Okay, let me say for myself, I am not against it, but I'm against the process, the method deployed as to and how it was executed. That's what I'm against.
That's why you see people going to the law, and that's why we have to go.
They didn't go to the law first.
If you are doing your job and somebody feels infringe or infringe, so take the law. So that's what it is.
Why they didn't go to the law?
Let them start their job. Whoever is disenchanted can take it to the law, and that's the process. If you feel disenchanted, go to the law. This is what was done, and it's not right. but it has to be initiated, and that's the initiation they're taking right now.
Okay, I see Terry already praying.
I'm not saying all of what they did was right, but there has to be a start.
So then, what are
So
you saying?
if they made error along the way, we were gonna go correct them and say, okay, don't do that, don't do that. But they have to start their job.
They have to start. Okay, let me hold you there. We will have it fair here. Jerry Bacon, Mr. Bacon.
Well, good evening to friends, especially our dear first lady on the show. Thank you. You know,
It's a tough question. He trying to find a word. I understand.
No. I'm not vocabulary constipated. I know I'm going to speak very eloquent.
These watchings for the trouble. You constipated. We'll give you Dr. C and then
oh my goodness.
So, man, there's sometimes the worst they try to find how to get out of my mouth.
Make them intellectual doso.
Yeah. You want to be the fixer here this evening. We understand that. Go ahead.
Thank you.
You listen to what Coffee said.
You know, look, my sister is saying the right thing. Look, the government is the responsibility of the government to protect the citizen as well. Look, let me go this. Let me give my little background. Maybe most of you have forgotten. I started my career as a police officer and I stayed in law enforcement. Okay? 1979, I was a cadet at the police academy. At that time, I used to call National Public Safety Institute. I graduated from the police academy. I worked at a rank of captain before I left the States. I came and worked at the United Nations for some time. And I'm still working in the security field up to this time. You know, people sit here and say, oh, the president went there, they went recovery team. Look, let's tell you, there's something they call urgency rule. It's urgency rule. Where there's a traffic offense, the police have to get a search warrant to have the car impounded. Once that car is impounded, now anything you do after that, you have to go to the court and get a warrant to look into your car. A policeman has stopped. The policeman have to get a warrant. As I said in my house right now, if somebody call and say there's a noise in that house, the policeman have to have a warrant to come in the house. But when he come here, now he got to get a warrant to see if there's an actual something. If it discovered there's something in the house is damaged. Some people come here and cry and say, oh, the poor guy in the street, they didn't got warrant. I listened to Yaka Koliba yesterday on Spoon TV. He said he was a former police officer. I know, maybe they're not seeing police academy that went though. Maybe there's a different police academy he went.
I eat that police.
Yeah?
Eat that
I want a police academy. I came in this country, I want a police academy. So now, look, there's no different from the police academy for the police academy in America. It's the same rule. The rule of evidence is the same thing. The rule of evidence is the same thing. The only difference there is because of the Constitution. If the law was so perfect, let me ask your panelists today. Do you know how many times our Constitution has been amended in Liberia? Even the great United States, you myself sitting today, do you know how many? I mean, it's not perfect. Even your cell phone you use, they say you must upgrade it all the time. You think it's perfect? If it were not perfect, they were perfect, then would not ask you to upgrade it. Some people come here and say, oh, but administration, they violate our rights. No. Look, we have natural science and we have social science. These are the elements of life.
Okay.
So, can I get a few minutes?
Yeah, 30 seconds. We will open special scientific class here, then do all of these elements and stuff like that here. I want to tell you now, this is not a liberal. So let me just tell you right now, because I'm not going to go into your Tabata, you one star way here. They're not a liberal here. Go ahead, 30 seconds.
30 seconds. The police have the right to search your car based upon the position they are in. But you know, look,
position.
If the man is laughing, look, there are so many ways. There are so many ways police can get. All right. So for you to say you're crying, all the police people, they didn't got no search warrant, the search must start to do. It's a part of it, yeah.
Oh, you turn the crewman now? Wow, this is
The people
unbelievable.
will speak the truth as well.
This is unbelievable.
I
Okay,
tell you.
let me bring one of your own. Imon, hold your peace.
Yeah.
Let me bring one of your own. He going through his profile. I listen to him, but he's involved. Nothing guarantees with him too. We can say yesterday, today, he was trying to table around. The liberal.
Yes.
Let's hear you. You heard Koto. You heard your patron Jerry Bacon. Terry there is the choir director saying hallelujah, meaning these folks are speaking the true mind. Let's hear you. Let's be
Well, thank
honest.
you. Thank you for
Let's
having
be
me, Mr.
honest for the
So.
good of the country. If we have a country of law and order and we want things to be done, I want my government to succeed. I want the government of the Republic of Liberia to succeed. And I think I believe, that could be the minds of every Liberian, whether you voted for or against. But we have a system. Those systems must be followed. And we do not want a situation where government tries to execute and implement policy, and then you get a kickback from the habitat of the court system or the court to say, no, this is not hot. You are running above your speed limit. Let's bring you in.
Thank you, Mr. So, for having us. We appreciate it. I think this conversation, I think it's in the right direction. And furthermore, I think I have achieved my objective of making a statement late yesterday when I was closing, because I wanted to make sure that, because knowing who you, Mr. George, and Mr. and Dr. Mali will be, I anticipated that in order for me to move you onto my liberal platform was to make sure that I locked you up by making that statement, blending you and Mr. George as a conservative and Mr. Mali as a conservative on this show, thereby telling the audience to watch that you three will come out here and tell us to throw these people in jail and throw the keys away. As smart as I am, predictably, now you three are now on my side tonight. So I'm not too sure if I'm even here, if I should even argue any point, because I will let you and Mr. George to do my work for you two. Since you're the two of you on here, I think by Mr. George arguing now that this is the right thing to do and what have you, the only concern that I have, he coming out here making this ridiculous statement that we rescued we sent when Mr. George becomes member of the rescue team, and you're gonna make a statement here. Hey, Mr. George, the liberal is on the floor, and you're gonna come out and make a statement like we rescue team. That's the only objection that I have. Other than that, I have nothing. I think you guys will do my bidding for me tonight and talk the liberal talk, and that's exactly my intent. And I think I'm very, very happy this evening, and I'm being successful. But let me point something out very quickly in 30 seconds. The executive order, and I'm not a lawyer, let me say that quickly. The executive order 126, the way it was written, even if they were to follow that the format, I think we would have been successful. Because I'll give you an example. The first part, mandate to put into place the necessary legal framework. That would be the first. That's the first mandate, a legal framework for the recovery of assets wrongfully acquired by current and former government officials. From my perspective, that wasn't done. Now, like I said, I'm not a lawyer, and the legal scholars in Liberia and outside of Liberia, we're going to debate this issue and see exactly what went wrong. But just the uptake of loan of what happened in the last 2 days, very shameful. And it's something that this liberal will not stand by and let these things happen as though they're getting ready to put President Baka in a bubble. And we will wrestle these people with President Baka. We're not going to let him be put in a bubble. The man is a good man. He knows exactly what he wants, and the people need to achieve it. One last thing, Mr. Soul, and I'll come back to this here, but let me just say this here. Look at who on this list. Look at the people on this list. Consider Edwin Carla Martin, lawyer. Okay, but here's the ridiculous one here. Emmanuel, Honorable Emmanuel, I don't know how to pronounce the last one. Member, Africa. This is the same guy
Gongwe.
a year ago who took upon himself want to lock up the voice of the Liberian people that he's advocating for by trying to lock the legislature. Yeah, so they will not go out and carry out the work of the Liberian people. This is the man that you put on this team, a man who, in my mind, from my perspective, who is so vindictive. You're going to put him in this team? Unacceptable, Mr. Soul. But again, I want to turn it over to you and Mr. George, and I will be as much quiet as possible here tonight because I think you two will continue to do my bidding and without me spending a dime, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Come on, George.
Yeah. You know, something told them, trying to take this easy talking point, vindictive. Everything vindictive. Something told you got to stop this thing here. Look, I said it before, and that I'm not a member of the rescue team. I did not support the rescue team. I don't hide from anything. My 1% is why I said I support it, and I still stand by it. But what I've always said, Honorable Barker is the president. So we must respect him and hold him to his words. So when I say that doesn't mean that I'm part of the team or I supported the team. No, I never. I don't hide from anything. Having said that, Mr. Baku, there are traffic laws in Liberia. So if someone is in the vehicle, the police stop that individual asking for the license. The law mandates that police can also request for that person's documents if the police suspect anything. And that person must produce the document. If they fail, the police has the right to impound that car. You from the academy, you know that. If a team is set up as
were you not part of the academy as well?
No,
Will you please stop interrupting Mr. George, please? Nobody interrupting you.
A team is set up by government to retrieve government assets. There must be procedures laid out. And one of the things first is one, if you are going to carry out an inspection, that is because you're being in traffic, you must make a public announcement. Hey, from this time to this time, we'll be carrying out an inspection. And we'll urge the general public to have the documents in the car because we'll be stopping vehicle and asking people to verify the documents. And if you don't have it, your vehicle will be impounded and you can bring your document to verify. I don't know. There was no announcement made. You jump in the street. You are not a police officer. Only police officer is a claw with that authority because it's a law given to them. Now, anybody who be retrieving government property, you must have a police officer there. And there must be an announcement for the public to be aware of what you are doing. You can't just go and put people car and say, you didn't answer requirement, you never inform them. Now, if there's a vehicle that commit a crime and the discretion is given, you don't need a warrant for that because that vehicle is dangerous. So send the description to any officer, law enforcement officer can pull that vehicle over. You don't need no such warrant for that. So you can't come and tell us that the people are doing the right thing. No. The procedure was wrong. So we can't wrap around, say the law. It was not crime committed in plain view. If it was crime committed in plain view, the officer have the right to arrest that person with that vehicle, whatever. So
okay.
You can't come and tell us that. No, it's wrong. The procedure, the step they took yesterday, it was wrong. We can't go back because people did it yesterday And we come back, those who come back to correct them must go and do the same thing, and we must come and give them pat down the back. No.
So, okay, let's
And
go here.
let me tell you, when Joseph Boakai, President Boakai has the right to appoint somebody to that committee. Whether you describe as being vindictive, what is wrong if someone went and closed the building of the Capitol building, and they are the taxpayer, they don't want to pay those people, and say, because you're not doing this. If he committed a crime, why they couldn't take him to court to prosecute him? Because if you know that someone have violated the law, that way he got caught there. So you can't say that the man went close the gate, they didn't do anything to him. So that means he never violated anything. As far as concerned, no law was violated. And you come here to say vendetta, because this is the same thing CDC preaching around. That, oh, Councilor Martin, Yeke Koluba, oh, these people, they wish hunting people because this man was fired by George Weah. That's nonsense. They got to stop that thing.
Okay,
let me say to the Yeke Koluba.
Let me hold you there quickly here.
Hold me there, because
do not allow the Liberal to
Yeah.
their cholesterol to go up yet.
No.
I'll be forced to
To be
bring
honest, it will go up tonight. It will go up tonight.
No,
that's why you guys anticipate.
Yeah.
You guys will end up going in. Oh, but let me just bring in Sissy, and then I tell it the guy. So Sissy, there's a question that comes into mind with this whole thing here, because I was in a text message conversation with one of the members on the Assets Recovery team, and I was curious to know the collection, the compositions of this whole team, and what it really hopes to achieve. They've done their due diligence in terms of, and one person that came to mind here was the Director General or former Director Mary Bro. I am wondering here, what sort of documentation was submitted to this team here in terms of how many vehicles government owned, or what they have identified, since they asked people to turn vehicle overs and other people, maybe for whatever reason, they are keeping this here. And the joint team, maybe from Commerce, in making sure to trace the documentations of these vehicles, when they entered, whether they were registered, whether the right monies were paid through government revenue, and all of that. But I could not get all of those questions here. And here we are now. And I'm just saying this because based on what the court is putting a halt, maybe certain things were not done here. But where do you think the mark was missed?
Well, first thing, I think they're trying to make mountains sort of ant hills. This reminds me of back in the day when Barack Obama was president in the United States, and he wore that tan suit. Remember that tan color suit?
Mm-hmm.
And Fox News went berserk. That was the worst thing a president could do. He didn't wear a dark color suit, he wore a tan suit. And then we got Donald Trump. Then they got quiet. Look, I'm going to put two Navajo sayings in here. And the Navajos are a Native American tribe in America. If you ever watch the Code Breakers, those were people who did wonderful work. The first one says, you cannot wake a person who is pretending to be asleep. I want you to listen to that carefully. You cannot wake a person who is pretending to be asleep. When I'm not sleeping, you try to shake me, because I'm already awake. It is difficult to get people to see something that they're choosing not to see. It is very difficult to get people to see something they're choosing not to see. The next one is, you cannot see the future with tears in your eyes. You cannot see the future with tears in your eyes. My brothers and sisters who just left government, they got tears in their eyes. Whatever, anything the government tries to do, they can't see beyond the tears in their eyes. And so everything is a tabata situation. And some of our brothers on the other side now that are in government, you can't get them to see things they're choosing not to see. They're like they pretend to be asleep. Look, Patrick Suru got a car. The car got arrested because it's government property, according to somebody's interpretation. Former President George Weah issued an order to all his people to turn over government properties. Current President Boakai also issued that same. In fact, the GSA has been trying to get government properties. Remember the issue with Pepsi Yeke and the gun? The GSA is put with the authority to retrieve government properties, and GSA people are on it. And this is an executive order. If, but for any reason, somebody feel aggrieved, then you go to court. What I don't want to have as a conversation is people who are always trying to turn this thing upside down. The government must go to court first before they can clean their property. You got government property that's being decided. GSA gave you government property. We come for it, and if you feel aggrieved, you go to court, like Patrick Suru did. It was the same thing with this appointment to tenure position. Government will go to court for and say, Supreme Court won't move that person, or can we move that person? That's not how it works. We remove you, and if you think you have been aggrieved, we go to court. So I don't understand. And again, sometimes I listen to these. I used to call them intellectuals because they should be causing who did. But now there are these intellectual malams. You know these malams on Facebook, I can listen in Facebook, require it, they can sell you that thing, you get rich quick, you do that on here. These intellectual malams selling fake things. Their ideology, their intellectualism as fake as Gucci Kawatis. Look.
Even though you want his job.
Yeah, but because you got a fake Kawatis. So I don't understand. But on a serious note, though, on a serious note, I think that the asset recovery team needs to do, I hate the thing when I come my face. They need to do thorough research. Don't rush.
That's what I'm saying.
You just rush for the first time you got burned.
Yeah.
Now you learn your lesson. The next time you're going to retrieve something, do detailed investigation and then go and retrieve it. But what I disagree with Mr. George is that you have to make an announcement on public radio and you don't. Because I know in my state here, sometimes when people ready to do click it or take it, they just on the road to check you wearing seatbelt. Don't make that announcement.
No, but Spencer, that's a different thing.
No,
it's required by law that you wear seatbelt. No. It's required by law that you wear seatbelt.
You may have relax.
Hold on.
When you get pulled over in this country, you get asked for your license and registration. It is an expectation that you have those. In Liberia, it is an expectation that you have your car documents with you.
Yes.
So they don't have to announce it. So look, let me say this. I am against any government going against or infringing on the rights of Liberian citizens. And I think there should be a court system in place that is independent, that can tell the government of the day you're wrong. And where they are wrong. I think we should have that. But what I don't agree with is that people thinking that they can steal from the country. And in order for us to come with things that belong to us, that Papa sounds like our state guy, we must go to court file for the court to say, yeah, we're going to go for our Kawatil. So for me, that's why I said, like I said, Liberian politics is becoming so distasteful for me. So I'm really focusing on where I know I can help Liberia the most. And I think we're going to make the announcement on the show. We're going to start our show soon on how can we really get these writers, these Liberian intellectuals into Liberian classrooms and start taking things for apart out of the Liberian classroom and putting murder in the cassava patch. Because when we start these things, these conversations will start to make sense. When we start talking about civics, it will start to make sense. Until we can do that, we will all sit on the platform. And what kind of thing do I mean? So that by George doing anything, I mean, yeah, the people they want Coca-Cola factory. I swear they can do all kind of thing. But so
if you're not on where you say we're talking about then I joy. I don't understand.
I'm saying this so we're talking how come
so
let me just learn seriously, right? On a serious note. Asset recovery was something that CDC started and it fell down in flat. This current asset recovery should learn from the flat, the mistake that And as you get burned, you need to go back and reflect. What did you do wrong? What can you do differently? So that you don't continue to do the same thing and get burned over and over. But I am for every government coming to power retrieving government property. It is insane that a few people should use public assets for their individual benefits. I also do believe that there should not be a pick and choose. It should not be a witch. Well, we should always hunt witches. If you're a witch, we should hunt you. But it should not be a pick and choose. That is my only point. That it should be transparent. And where you made mistake, you should learn from it and not repeat it.
Okay, let's go. Terry, I think here a lot of, by facial expression, there seems to be a little bit divided role. You were resurrecting and say, but some sisters start to insert other thing here, like, this guy here, he's ready to get this whole train down the road. That's just my educated guess here from what I see here. But let's turn this camera off. Do you think this process, was it a political process that was meant? I listened to what Carter said. It's our campaign promise. It's what we do to address people. So it must be done at all costs without taking the necessary precautions in making sure that the government succeeds.
I still living. Don't add on my wall. I ain't say at all costs. I still living here.
No, that all costs.
What journalists can do, they can turn you around.
No, because I have to kind of restructure.
Spicy.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
I said, "Oh, so this place can be plowed at me." So just so you know.
I thought she was in, but it's inside too. No, but on a serious note, quickly, let me bring you in here, Terry. Was there like a rush process because people wanted to get the public attentions on their side to say, hey, we can get things done? We say we're going to do it, we're going to deliver, and we must hit those campaign promises. And there are some other campaign promises that, for some reason, some of us are still not convinced whether those promises were fully executed. Yeah. But do you think there was some misstep along the way?
Well, to be honest, Mr. So, I really don't think that there was any misstep along the way, you know. And what I'm reading here could be very, very challenging to a lot of us, you know. That's why I decided to go into it and all of that. But we need to understand in a fight, because let me tell you, Mr. So, we politically, the government benefits from the asset recovery, but it's not a political decision. Politically, they will benefit if they do asset recovery. All right, because it's going to still be a plus for the government and people are going to hail them for it. So definitely the opposition want to make it difficult for them to initiate this because they are aware that it's going to gain political fruits. But I want to show you guys something here from the United Nations Convention Against Corruption. The stance on asset recovery. All right, recognizing the serious problem of corruption and the need for improved mechanisms to combat its devastating impact and facilitate the recovery of corruption proceeds, the international community introduced a new framework in the United Nations Convention Against Corruption. Chapter V of the convention provides this framework for the return of stolen assets, requiring state parties to take measures to restrain, seize, confiscate, and return the proceeds of corruption. Now, in collecting intelligence, evidence, and tracing assets, this is what they explain. Evidence and intelligence collecting is conducted by law enforcement officers under the supervision of a prosecutor, which we have, or judges, or by private investigators to build subject and financial profiles. In some instances, special authorization is required from a judge, prosecutor, or law enforcement officer to access government agencies, databases, or conduct electronic surveillance. In other cases, investigation can be conducted through open source intelligence, where data is publicly available. A robust profile would include information on the asset held by targets, their families and associates and associated businesses. The financial data may include all assets and liability, income, and expenses of the targeted and their businesses. Now, you can go there by yourself and Google.
Did people follow that procedure?
This is
just read.
Hey, give me a chance now, Papa. I give you a chance to speak. You understand that? Because I'm not a lawyer, right? But we all learning. We need to understand here that the first thing here is the executive order is a law that enforces the asset recovery task force. All right. So it is a law. So if the Supreme Court, after the asset recovery is exercising the authority based upon the empowerment given to them by the president, the only thing the Supreme Court should have done was to have waited for those people whose property have been confiscated to go to them and make a complaint. After they make a complaint, the Supreme Court should have called the asset recovery team to verify whether if these asset that they have taken was done properly according to the requirement provided by the asset recovery task force. You understand, eh? But again, people will say, you see, the Supreme Court decision have weakened the presidential executive order, which is completely, I believe, is a political maneuvering that goes against the structure that's supposed to be able to work in the benefit of our people. And that is where I stand.
Okay, that's where you stand. I want to go to back on. But
you were asking me questions. I wanted to hear the question.
Come in just few seconds.
No, I come let me get done with him. Let me done with him. Then I come to you guys.
Just so 1 minute. I just 1 minute. 1 minute. I ain't going. Which one they call broadcasting? What is the broadcasting?
Sidisha mustn't bring the tabata to us. We get no broadcasting.
So quickly, Terry, you reference us to a very good document that outlined, that lay out a protocol, various processes as to how you can get that. Do you think,
right?
Or I say what you read just now from the United Nations, that's a complete, a comprehensive protocol as to how government.
I hear you.
Yeah. So I'm asking you here, do you think all of those processes were followed?
We will only know if Supreme Court is able to call the asset recovery team for them to give clarity. But we cannot wholesomely agree with the Supreme Court putting a hold and commanding the asset recovery team to return the people thing back. So knowing very well that the asset recovery team is operating under the executive order of the president. That means they are including the executive order of the president.
Do you think the presidential order can be challenged?
Yes, but the Supreme Court, they have the right to do that. But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Challenge. The Supreme Court cannot challenge a presidential order. The Supreme Court can only deliberate on complaint based on what is brought to it.
We agree.
Okay.
I think that's the right way we should put it. So, but again, the Supreme Court, based upon the decision, it can weaken the president executive order. So it's the same as challenge. Like what the Supreme Court doing now? How you call that?
It's not.
Is that not challenge?
No.
Let's distribute the conversation.
So what is that?
Hold on one second.
It's an application of the law.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
It's not an application of the law because it did not go through the procedure.
Do not argue with the ANC commissioner, please. He's going to be the next police commissioner, and that's how.
No. Because the Unity Party people not come to do the same old thing that you're wearing there. We're not sit down for it.
Okay. Let me bring in Jared back on.
But then give us evidences and proof that the people did the wrong thing.
Jared,
I'll go out there. Don't worry.
I'll back on.
Yes, sir.
You are a career law enforcer. Yes. And I like the reference Terry brought in.
When you started that, I come and talk about that to you. Just be careful.
And
to be careful when you bottle him up like that, he come and post it to you through.
Oh no, I know. He's a
Look, I said,
career.
brother.
He's a
I
career
sat in the
coach.
classroom. Look, I didn't eat. Look,
Law,
listen. I didn't
law
I
enforcement.
didn't eat my school fee. Oh.
I
Eh?
know. He's a
Eh?
career law
My school
enforcement.
fee. Oh.
He provided VIP
I
protection
never eat my
to
school fee.
the then
Yeah.
president-elect here. But look, he took us
Look,
through the protocol of the whole process here.
look,
Do you
okay.
think? Yeah. Do you think?
Let's look at it on analysis. I mean, Terry make a good point. But here's the thing: law enforcement perspective. First of all, we have three means of the law he passed. We got the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature. These are the three principles of law, the way law is passed. Okay? Let's take the case now as a scenario. Those that went on the field that were not police officers, that were recovering cars in Liberia. You know?
Can you repeat yourself, please? I didn't hear you.
No, I said, look, listen, I'm giving you the coup, and I said, I will repeat.
Yeah.
I said there are three functions: legislature, executive, and judiciary. These are the three fundamental how law pass. Those, the recovery team. Oh, okay, now you put me on the back. Okay, fine. You want to see me. That's great.
No, the liberal is retreating.
Okay. Those that went on the field to retrieve cars, they are not police officer. They don't have the authority. Even if
they don't have to be.
Eh?
Hold on one
They
second.
don't have to be.
But you said the people were right.
Hold on. When you hear a piece, let him make his own point.
Prosecutor.
I said, from my perspective, I was not on ground, but what I saw live on TV, you as a civilian, you don't have no authority. You see, you don't have no authority to possess any man property. The Minister of Justice is their responsibility to execute the mandate from the president. If the president has mandate and say we need to recover cars, it's the responsibility of the Minister of Justice to go to the police director and say, look, the president have given you this mandate, you need to recover. The recovery GSA is not a responsibility of GSA. Then the legal question becomes, these people who are the recovery team, if something happened to them, if somebody to hit them, it began an issue. We are going to go to court because, hey, if I'm driving a car, you are not a police officer. You stand before my car, and I hit you, we're going to go to court. But here's the interesting thing, folks. Look, we are here at least to exchange knowledge. We have different expertise. I will sit on the platform. It is important. Supreme Court have to wait. Real such a word, that's the first thing. It's an urgency. It was say urgent for it to go to the Supreme Court. Nobody right have been violated yet. They have not gone through the change of command. You cannot just come and say sue the president, then go straight to the Supreme Court. No, it's a step. Okay? Right. If I slap the man, that's unusual. Anything unusual that have not have a precedent, where Supreme Court come in and say, it is the person right, they've been violated, and this is the Supreme Court coming in. But it's not just say, oh, want a divorce, but we have to bear in mind the Supreme Court have to wait. Because a little thing I'm noticing in Liberia, every little thing straight to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court began like it began like the magistrate court. Look, let me give you a typical example. One of the cases let me give you one. Just give me 1 minute. One of the cases that really touched my heart. November, June 7th, posted them do the demonstration. When Patrick Zulu went into Ijeke Koluba car, drove the car from the executive mansion area and brought it to the police station before they say they found a gun. These are urgency law. Something because here is a sitting representative. They found a gun in his car. And here's the police officer. He never told the car. They drove the car from the scene and carried to the police station. Then they say, we'll bring flash and look inside. Now we found a gun. So these are cases that Supreme Court can step in and say, because it's never happened in our country. But I say, a certain representative, maybe I might go do a research or later on, But to say a certain representative to be possessed of firearm, or in his car or in her car. So these are things we have to be very mindful when it comes to civil matter or criminal matter.
Okay,
So I
there,
just want
okay, quickly, there's some sort of correlation here to what you're saying here, but you kind of try to wrap me into your liberal idea, which of course I'm not going to go there. So making to reference to that, does that mean that that car was being searched before even taking a step? How sure are we whether that weapon was there, or even the one that drove the car? How can we validate that the one that drove the car could potentially put it inside?
which car are you talking about? Yake Koluba car?
The Koluba car. Was
The
it searched?
chain of evidence was broken.
Okay, you see,
Okay.
yeah, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. Policeman, if he believes that a crime is committed, if he feel that the crime is committed, the first thing is to seize that car, tow the car, carry it to somewhere, seal it up first. Then you go to the court and get a warrant that before you open that car, you cannot just go, you have to go to the judge to testify. Because you see, any warrant that go out, the judge have to sign it. Every warrant that go out, the judge you have to go to that judge to make your case and say, Your Honor, we believe there's a weapon in that car and we have AYZ, and this is the evidence that we have. We want to search your car. And the judge, you have to explain to that judge before the judge give you that
Let me
permission.
bring in, I want to be putting it now here. I think Terry and Mr. Barkon, they are not having a good night. The Liberal broke ring with you guys already. So you all want to be the fixer here this evening. Emma George, I don't know where sis is staying, but
Oh, don't tell the people the fixer that Amos George down. That Amos George fixer.
Okay.
Don't get to the
No,
other.
no. We try to be objective here.
Mr. So, I have one question for Sissy, please, if you don't mind. And this is just to educate
hold on.
myself.
If
But
you
wait
guys,
on.
no, hold on. You're not
You
moderating.
can't be doing the show like
You
this.
know, I have the right to ask this a question. You said you have not even answered our question. You want to ask this a question? You don't come intrude into my conversation. It is quarter time. Wait, when I call you, you will ask your question. Okay?
But who running the show? That Amos George and Alfonso running the show.
Well, I asked Emma Joy to co-host. So if you don't know, I don't really need to. I don't really need to.
The 1% almost with you today.
Emma is my. Well, it's something to come from here. So, Koto, yeah. Look, on a serious note here, let's. I don't know. Now there's a halt now by the Supreme Court, so it means something wasn't right. There was some sort of a chain of command wasn't followed. Some sort of authority wasn't followed, because all of these things too can also end up being some sort of liability on the government, because this is where, like the country, how people can get some crazy money, right? State that, so you make small mistake, man, the lawyer then coming in and post slam you with big time lawsuit here. What do they need to do now? Do we need to hear from Mary Braw? Actually, do we need to hear from Mary Braw as the director general? I know she said those things here. I remember she appeared on one of these phones here. But what are all of these things? It was just like a verbal, because when I called it one, they said they're not doing it. What should I do? What should you do? There's the government. You are one of the directors. Was there any formal complaint to the Ministry of Justice? Be a rating and outline, did a complete infantry who are in possessions of government car, or it's just a sort of guess game here. I don't know. I don't understand, because people should come and tell us to say, hey, we are in search of thousands vehicles, categorized and itemized in this ministry, this agency of government, these people, so people still in possession. So we are called these people and they are not cooperating. If that's the case, then of course we know how to pursue them. But I'm not sure whether all of these things were done. I know she just complained and say, "Oh, nobody they play here. People, you saw how the director people then that." Of course, that's a valid case, because a lot of things happen and they have been an endless case here. Makoto, do you think it can be done differently? We're not hearing you. Let me put this number out so we can get word from. Koto, you are muted. You got to unmute your.
Just say you want Breakable and Lion Ted to come.
Yeah, Mr. So, how you doing? Yeah, go ahead, Mr. So. Sorry.
Oh. Oh, the question. Yeah.
You were talking about the law. Sorry, the last one I didn't get the end of your question.
Because Samson told saying you were text, that was part of a tactic to kind of deflect my question. You don't want to answer it. No, what I'm saying is the
That's
okay.
a simple regulation.
Let me push you to answer the question. Do you think it can be done differently now to bring a better result? Because we can't continue to have people, every government can, they buy new car, buy new thing. People were parking as if they're moving or government reassign. If your government reassign you, where you will be reassigned, there should be stuff there, not to take things because other people I am not in favor of people, every government comes to power every year, you got to buy hundreds of cars, and that's a waste of resources. I'm not a guy who believe in big government spending like the Labor and Terry, the Jerry Baconstep, and all of those sort of people. But do you think it can be done differently?
Yes, Mr. So, and this is where for me I come in. I'm not saying what they did was 100% perfect.
Oh,
And I know that there will be some places that they will err, and that's where the correction comes in. And we are there, whatever, and that like we have it. That's why we have some of these shows there. And trust me, these people are hearing what we say.
oh my
Some of
God.
the mistakes that they may have made, they will be able to correct those mistakes. I sure they are not there like straight hair, just going haircut and just doing things. They did something wrong that when we call them, that call their attention to them, they're going to correct their mistakes. But it has to start from somewhere. We can't always sit and wait until let wait and see, let wait and see. We'll be on it, wait and see until the 6 year passes. They'll say, okay, things that were supposed to be done was not done. But I think they were not 100%. There are some error they made, and we can correct them on that. And it is better it's done now than later. Because what happened in that, so many people are taking the cars, carrying it, and scrapping them, and the government need the cars. And like you rightly said, that the asset you can't always every year you got to buy new asset. It's not right. We want our country to be productive. Want to compare ourselves with other countries, but we are not willing to take steps that will help our country. You
Okay.
take the car and transfer it to your personal use. Now the next person that coming in, they have to buy a car for that next person. We have priority. Right now, you saw the protest that went on today, right? We have almost 700 names that have been on the Ministry of State on a listing. It's not even, they haven't gone through the process. Those are people they have to pay. I don't care what you do. You have to pay them until you can channel the proper, you go to the proper channel in keeping them either in the system or get them out of the system. So money
Okay.
is just wasted
So
unnecessary. There are important, things that we have to spend money on. That the just is spending money on cars. Right now, you go check. A lot of people have been exposed in the cars. They scrap them. Some of them pack them in some villages. Some of them pack them in other places that you cannot easily get access to. So, like Mr. George was saying, you make announcement. Tell me, you made announcement. No cars will ever step in the street.
Koto,
You will
yeah,
not. Every time, Mr. You are talking, those cars will not get in the street, and you will not see them. So I'm saying that yes, it
okay.
is true that some things were not done right. And the
Okay.
thing about it, if it is done, the next thing is like what Terrence said. I mean, not the job of
He's still trying to hook onto something here. You on our side, it was not done right, and it can be done better. That is
yes, I'm
honestly.
saying it can be done better. But
So,
I'm not saying they did wrong completely. They did
oh,
wrong, and we can make correction on those wrongs that they did.
okay.
So, like
Liberal,
what Terry said, the Supreme Court, that's not the stand of the Supreme Court. Who carry it to Supreme Court straight? Cases just don't go to Supreme Court.
okay, let's make progress. We have a few more
Ah,
minutes to go. Liberal, you say you had a question before I go to the caller. You say you have a question for Sissy?
Yes. I have a question for Sister, but I'll just frame it this way. So I think I'll just leave it as that because I too have to go here very soon. But Mr. So, one of the worries that I have, and that was going to be the question, but I'll just frame it into a statement now. because I know Cece could have helped me out, but I'll still put in the statement form and it can still be turned to question, whatever it is. But one of the concerns that I have, that I think this access recovery process might be harmful in the future, because you do have the War and Economic Crime Court is coming. If this access recovery process continues, with those who now might be found guilty in this access recovery process, will they then be charged later on in the war crime court? And will we not consider that as double jeopardy? How do we separate this process, this access recovery process here, from the war and economic crime of the past and present government officials? That's a concern. That was the question I was going to ask to see if my comment, if it's even connected. One last thing I want to say, and Sister, please take that on here. Then I will take your answer off the air. One last thing I want to say before I leave, Mr. Soul, is that I think one of the things we here on LeBron Public Radio is very good at is to allow each other to express themselves freely. We are not afraid. Mr. Soul, the liberal is on the floor.
You know,
we are not
already know who on the phone. You already know.
No, don't put that on the phone. I don't got that CDC, man. They come to put their foot in your mouth again. So I don't care for them. I don't care for them. They're good at that. But the point here, Mr. So, we come out here and we're not afraid to make comments and and have a serious conversation. And I think audience really like that among us, because we look at Terry. He and I were not on the same page since yesterday. Jerry and I were not on the same page since yesterday. Cortu and I were not on the same page since yesterday. So this is the access, the process of a vibrant debate, intellectual engagement. What LPR is good. Finally, Mr. So, the reason why I'm leaving this early, because I would like Mr. George to continue the process of liberalizing the conversation on my behalf. Mr. George, I designate you to continue to liberalize the conversation for my sake and for the sake of the liberals. Mr. So, I'm almost done. Will you please let me get
Friday night, but they get good ready.
So I will leave you guys to have a good time, and I'll say good night to all of you. It's been a wonderful, wonderful show. Good night, folks. Let me excuse myself so that Mr. George will continue to liberalize the conversation. Thank you very much, Mr. George, and good night to all of you.
All right, yeah, we almost getting answer to one.
Go
ahead quickly, your point.
Yeah, thank you so much for the show. You know, it just surprised me when I listen to the liberal. You know, you really say I start sharing my whole answer was look. I didn't hear the liberal saying that some of us express themselves to you. Liberal, are you serious? Look. My sister, Koto, you know, I listen to you and I enjoy you. You always join a broader change, so I'm not surprised. These are the things I would know that will come. You guys face here to defend everything, so it's not seriously for me. Terry, I don't know. So now you can get your feeling and become real. But so now you bring in the broader change, things are different. Look, the thing we're talking here is. You shall criticize everything that was negative. And you listen to your information minister on a platform, international platform, and justifying everything that's wrong. That's the same thing the president did. The president went on BBC and behaving like my 12-year-old child who not know about Labrador. You in the city, been in the city for the 2 years. 12 years as that president, he's talking about how now in Mordor, Allah is not even in the country, I was not in the country. I don't think that he's only camping. You are president now for 4 months now. You see your own mistake that you make it.
Brigable.
Corruption all your government.
Brigable.
You see the corruption. You're not taking no action. But you're discussing about how country is suffering. How people don't get this, people don't get that. You were in the system for as a 7-man command. And you were in the system for 40+ years. You see all those things. We saw to say Alex in the campaign. It is a time for you to take action and do what you want to do that you say you have experience. And people choose you.
Thank
and that's
you.
Joseph I say, well, we're not there.
Thank you so much.
Incompetent. Citizens were incompetent. You are not incompetent, you need to go in government now. But you should do the same thing that citizens they are all wrong. And you do the worst one. By taking people on the street. No, the people just said it. You want to walk around code. You got people in the government are working.
10 seconds.
You just dance asking, runs asking. The same thing every job is every day. You taking people for a job.
Okay, thank you so much. Brigable. Yes. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, let it be land quick.
Yeah, let me just end anyone. They see how they go on the street, taking people on the street. Do you know how many people are affected? Even now the Union Party say that voted for you, that get a public car were affected. So many government private car because the new car is a government car. The government all new car in the country.
All right, thank you so much.
Justification and find a correct way to go for so many car.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
So did I hear him saying campaign more? People say campaign more.
Look, can I respond? Can I say something? Can I say something quick?
I think we need to really respond to that.
Brigable say he saw my knee, and my knee disappeared. So
can I say something to the gentleman who just called us?
Yeah, you say you saw your knee on it.
Yeah, well, I said maybe because I didn't say CV. Because I said CV, all my knee will be there.
So I don't think, honestly, my view, these people, they have the different thoughts. They are all people. Let them speak. It's better to get it out there, out of their chest.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah,
just potential education, and not something I'm going to rebut.
Yeah, I mean, you can end it up in your closing, but it's 9.
Thank you.
9:55. You have the right to speak to it. We don't want to sanction people. Voices, but that was very weird and strange for he to tell people, for me to hear from people in campaign more coming from him. So he tried to find people to be of the same, to be in the same sort of patterns and things that they did and all of that. But I don't know where we are. We waiting to see. Ultimately, I think personally, my view, there were little missteps along the way, and I think they're going to kind of like probably hopefully to capitalize on that. They have a legitimate case. It is good for government to go everywhere, throughout the length, breadth, outside of the country, and all of that. And that for sure, I know the president visit to La Cote d'Ivoire, that all of that were embedded into it. Just official working visit, and the president spent a night there. I mean, so there were a possibility of a lot of conversation, national conversation were ongoing. This, I think, you now call Keto. Keto is here now. Hello?
Hello?
Is it what on Keto?
Yeah, Keto, how you guys doing?
Oh, good. Sister, we're asking for you.
Yeah.
The money, he not pay your money?
Sister, run away from me. No, man. You put a beautiful dollar on it.
I gave it to Mama Molu.
I seen a dressing and I said, oh, me that for
all right, go ahead quickly before we wrap up.
Yeah, so look, the idea of the asset recovery is not a bad thing. Everybody embraces it. And it's something that is very good for our society, because people, you can't come to government and they're assigned of their property to you. When you leave it, you don't want to leave them behind. And it happened under Eddie Johnson selling government. And George Watson, what he did the same thing. There was information sent out. People scrapped those cars, they changed the VIN number, they took the engine from in the government car and put it in another car. Those are things that so is bad. And now this government, this past government, people doing it is bad. But the process, look, to not, for people not to look at this government to doing things that they fought against, I said was bad. is for them to do it the right way. And that was our found. I don't care who government in office. I don't care who government has approved. Liberian assets should be Liberian asset, the government asset. You cannot take government property that does not belong to you and carry it after you serve the Liberian people, except where there is law that says you can buy it, and, you can inherit it. Okay, I went for the state of America. I know that all our vehicles, the fleet, after certain years, it goes to auction. They give state worker the right to go there and bid and buy this auction cars. In fact, as a matter of fact, you put prices on it. You ain't gotta go to the bidding process. They got some that it was put to the public that you still employee, you're not even entitled to bid in. So people can sell one computer for $2.50 only to the public and not to the state people. So they got all these laws on the book. When you do these things, you have to do it in conformity with the law. You cannot go outside the law just because somebody felt that Mr. Sisse worked for government and he and myself been beating back and forth on campaign and I didn't like it, so he got a car. I just go and say, "Oh, baby, she stole it."
But why can't you see my meal?
I can't do that. Or couple, and sometimes, and maybe
Get to the bag.
Daha or Joseph Waka or how you call it?
You know, Keto got to call your internet before you leave.
So let's be honest here. I don't think this recovery team did due diligence in the process. They brought this government into popularity, and that is exactly what is happening. I think the president should have constituted people, professional people, lawyers, people from
But you get a lawyer. You get a lawyer on the book.
Go find some
is beyond just their cars. We're talking about millions of dollars are outside of the country. We're talking about properties that people built. There's an information that we learned way back that somebody used to be in government. So
Okay, thank you. It's 10 o'clock.
You want to play the lake on the show?
Yeah.
Okay, it's 10 o'clock. You need to be showing face here by popular demand. The poster you need to come. So, but thank you so much for your own analysis. We want to keep up actually with time. It's very important. These people are spending their precious time here. Let's do the wrap up. Let's do the wrap up here this evening. Yes.
Yeah, let me do this and go. I think the Libra asked a question, and I don't think it will be double jeopardy. I think those are two different things. I think double jeopardy is being charged for the same crime twice. If, for example, I had a vehicle and I totaled the vehicle and my vehicle, the company that I owed a loan to came and repossessed the vehicle, or it wasn't even totaled, but they repossessed it and they sold it. And if it's sold for cheaper than the value, they still have the right to come after me for the difference. So I really don't see the asset recovery jeopardizing the war and economic crime code. That is just my own understanding. I could be wrong, and people please feel free to disabuse me. However, as I leave this platform tonight, I'm compelled to state that the asset recovery has taken one and a little bit small administration, George Weah and Joseph Boakai, and the state hasn't gotten it right. How many administrations would it take to get one thing right? So I will hope that this government, and I am for it. I'm 100% for it. And people who feel aggrieved, they should go to the Supreme, they should go to whatever court. I just think that they should not repeat the same mistake twice. So Patrick Suru came out and bit you all because you wouldn't do the work to find out that he had paid for this car. And I don't like the process where you buy a $65,000 car for $5,000. I don't like it. But if that's the law, that's the law. Like Musa Benito would say, the law is the law. So we ought to change that, but we don't get to say, oh, no, we don't like it, so we prosecute somebody for it. So I think now the asset recovery thing, I hope, I have a lot of people on it that I respect, that they will go back and think, and they will make sure that the next time they go out to retrieve something or confiscate something, that they actually make sure that they have all of their ducks lined up. But I'm going to part by saying that the same offers I made to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf that I made to George Weah and I'm making to the Boakai government, And this time it's strategic, is to the MCSs and to the education system. That's what we've been doing. I'm available. I'm a Liberian. I'm available to help in education. That is the one thing I know. And if I must toot my own horn, goddamn, I know it very well. I'm available. I don't need a job. I am not leaving America to come and help you. I can help you from a distance. I don't need to be paid. But there are places in our educational system that I think people have a blind spot. And Article 6 of the Liberian Constitution guarantees access to quality education for all Liberians. I'm raising my hand. I'm a Liberian. I supported Tewonsi Gowolo. When it became a binary choice, I supported Joseph Yimabwaga. I support Liberia overall. There are countless number of us in the diaspora willing to help without having government pay or government job. I want to make this public. And I also want to own up to say that the current MCS superintendent has actually been very responsive. And we will make sure that we support our educational system, because for a Gedoba Goya like me that was born in Zozo Current Hospital, people didn't expect some of us to be to where we are. It was because of education that we got to where we are. And we want to be able to give back to people like us, but I have worse upbringing than us, to be able to experience the thing we all experience right now. So I'm on LPR and I'm saying this. We're offering our support. We don't need government job. We don't need to be compensated. You utilize the brain trust that we got in the diaspora. It can be in Guinea, that's still diaspora. Utilize the brain trust you got in the diaspora. You don't use it, my flower can't end. If you don't use it, you don't do the people work, I'm coming for you. That's my only thing I got to say.
And I'll be behind you.
You want to end with flower?
No, what?
Pajo, you are quick to give up. That you don't want to you.
Okay.
You said what? I quick to give up?
Yes. Hold on.
But you were saying,
yeah.
Let me
say this. Let me say this. Look, Mr. So, Terry, all that United Nations thing you read. Let me ask you. No, that's about that. What it's exact is correct, but I'm asking you, which one of the protocol that your government followed? And when I said that it was wrong, they talk about record. Did they go to GSA to collect the data from them? No. Did they go to motor vehicle or transport ministry to look at the registry from there? Did they contact the embassy? They didn't do it. They didn't do it. If they did it, why? They didn't do it? Hold on now. If they did it, then why did they return Patrick car? Because they should have had that record from GSA.
The code rule is not on the foundation or because of what. Anyway, go ahead.
Hold on. Terry, you start doing this thing here. Don't tell me the code rule. Don't tell me the code rule. The document showed that Patrick bought the car. And there's a law saying that after 3 years, the car has depreciated and can be sold. So then what was the need? Those are the research people should have done. When you have your record and you go over your inspection, if you pull a vehicle or the opener, you look for the VIN number to identify the record that you have. It wasn't done. Secondly, if someone brought in 50 cars, 60 cars, you go to the revenue authority to see whether that car, the proper tax will pay. That can give you an authority to arrest the vehicle also, because that means the federal government. All the documents will be in your team possession. It was not done.
Yeah, I mean that the price.
And you expect me to come and say, you said that they were right. Now, if they were right, then you come back and say, oh no, they were not right because that procedure was not followed. They didn't get the Minister of Justice involved to enforce the law, because if they pull you over and say, no, you can't do it, the police will compel you to do it. That's the role of the Minister of Justice, to enforce the law. So in order to do that, the director should have written the Minister of Justice, and the Minister of Justice will contact the police to say, put this man on detail with these people. They are there only to enforce where someone resists. All the procedure, was it done? and you expect me, if it was done, then why the court will say no? Now, let me say something quick. The Supreme Court, cases don't just, if it's political season, they can say political cases will be fast tracked. So that they don't have to go through the local court because that's a season, and they say they don't want the cases, political cases, to be delayed. So they say, okay, the Supreme Court will fast track these cases. And secondly, if it becomes a constitutional issue where people's rights are involved, the local can say, hey, that's a constitutional issue, so we'll send it up to the Supreme Court. They are there to interpret the law. That's their job. So we have to understand, and these things must be done in compliance and consistent with the law. So Terry, when I said that your people did not follow the protocol, these are some of the things I'm seeing. What you read from the UN, yes, but all those things were not followed. And if one or two laws are not followed, you follow it in someone else's right. Even though you can see your stolen car or stolen thing, but when the law is not followed, you follow that person's right. In the case of J.K. Koluba, that's why when that thing happened, I said that case I was a cartoon. Because there's nowhere in the world you will see somebody's car and get in that car as an officer to drive that car. That car should have been towed, sealed. But just did not do it when I said this is not a cartoon. And what did they do? They go through the case. So I, one of those who always said the police in Liberia, they are not doing it when it comes to preserving crime scene. They don't do it. It's lacking. They put the training behind them. So I just want to give and also Terry, tell your people, send out UN people to them.
So Terry will be speaking to you too. Don't finish speaking and then run away. So Terry
No. Terry can speak, but I'm just saying he should send out UN package to them so they can read it, so they can follow the protocol.
Who wants to go next?
Yeah, can I come in? Let me just go. All right. Firstly, I want us to educate the public what an executive order looks like. From what I'm reading here, it says an executive order is defined as a declaration by the president or a governor which has the force of law, usually based on existing statutory powers. Executive orders do not require any action by the Congress or state legislature to take effect, and the legislature cannot overturn it. So one of the things we don't understand is I'm coming now. I'm coming. You understand that the Supreme Court acted disorderly to challenge the president's executive order without having a complaint. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You just all lie here how we fail. We were not there, we didn't follow this. So I'm telling you to the Supreme Court, have you seen anything that the Supreme Court wrote to tell you the reason for which they told the asset recovery team to return the people's properties back?
Terry, let me
knowing very well.
No, Mr. So I just want clarity.
Okay.
So, Terry, I want to know. So the Supreme Court just sat down and said nobody should.
No, I asked you, and you said we should produce proof now to show that whether if we were in the right. Because Mr. So when I read this thing here, that one made me to argue. Because when I went to this thing, I said, but this thing is wrong because in this particular or asset recovery, take for example, right? The asset recovery team was established by the president since March 6th. So you want to tell me that since that time, people have been playing, they've been finding facts, data analysis, because like what does something say? You have to have data analysis on financial records of how much this person have been making to be able to buy those cars. So the people went ahead based upon the data analysis that they are gathered. And according to this particular report, the asset recovery team can be established by a private investigatory team. You don't even need a judge or a prosecutor. Once the presidential executive order alone is a law all by itself that empower the asset recovery team, the justice ministry is a prosecutor. They can come in to back them when there is a need. But with all of what they gather, if they decide to take action appropriately, you're not supposed to obstruct them until the victims can prove otherwise. So, Pape, I understand that CDC people do not want this team to work because they want to say, and we told y'all that they will fail. There, yeah, now. So you want to tell me the lawyer, that Martin man, is naive to the law that he will make the boys honor him to go and confiscate people's property with all evidences that they have collected?
Maybe
We're not going to do it. The balance two got to close. Anything.
Because these people that are handling the team is so, these people are lawyers. They are professional lawyers. You understand? So I think that the opposition, because President we are still get money, he can influence the Supreme Court with the approach of the Supreme Court moving in so swiftly.
Terry calling. Terry, come on. So, President, we are.
Oh, you have to somebody paying again. Oh my God.
Oh, but the Supreme Court, Supreme Court was under the president. That same court there. We saw how the president ran it. That same court, just and not even 1 year, and not even 3 months ago. Then we just listened to one of his countrymen telling President Bokar that he's nepotistic. One of his countrymen, that judge, you hear what he said? That President Bokar is practicing nepotism, but when President Weah had all the cool people in your government, he didn't talk about nepotism.
Okay, so let me ask you: is he doing it now too? What is he doing? What President Weah did?
I don't know. We gotta go. Let him give us facts. But as we stand, he have to prove to us whether President Bokar is doing it.
We are high cool people in government, right? We are high cool people in government.
We are high cool people in government. He never said a word.
It's one of the associate justice that said that.
Okay, let's.
Yeah, well, I forgot his name, man. Mr. So know what I'm talking about. But anyway, Mr. So. Yeah, this is not good for our country. It's not healthy for our country. And that is why I just want to. Yes, criminal code A. Thank you for that addition. So if we are to effect change, one of the things I see with Liberia is that we are sympathetic and we are jealous. Liberian people can say, "Oh, this is what we want. We want this thing to happen." The moment it starts happening now, we stand there and say, "Hey, yeah, look at the carrying a man." Then you will start being sorry for the next thing. They do it to even women that children in the house that people rape. People in Liberia can negotiate it and make sure that case don't go to court.
Let's leave it.
That is how sympathetic we are. That's why I doubt that the Supreme Court will work. I doubt that it will happen. Thank you.
Okay. Who wants to go next? Otto, Jared?
Yeah, let me go. Yeah, thank you. I think we had a nice show. I like to hear, diversity of views, and that's what we are here for. And like I already said, I know that these people are not 100% perfect. And there are some area that they may not have done well. And that's why we're here. And that's why the law comes about. Wherever the law sees is infringing on somebody's right, then the law takes its course. But until then, the people have to do their job. It is required of them that they do their job. And I listened to Breakable when he was saying that, oh, these people, they're supposed to be running behind the BB money and they're behind small thing. You got to start from the very small one. And it's not just one person. Everybody have their tax to perform. So you can't wait for the other band and say, oh, the other band had to come and join me. Let's do what we're doing. And Gonquai, the tax was given to Gonquai. They said he should be head of the task force. So he was in the right place. He might not have done the right thing at this time. That's why we'll call on him. That some of the things he didn't do right, to correct what he didn't do. But just start shaking your head, man. Don't give me headache, man. Yeah. So
the investigator, we need all the task force team.
Where you think the law is not in the right place, take it to court, and then that way the law takes its course. Even the legislature, when they make the law, they do not interpret the law. That the executive order have taken place. If you think it's not right, take it to the law. Then the the interpretation comes in. So I think that's why it is. But we cannot stop the people from doing their job and wait for whoever to come and interpret. The court that will take forever to come and interpret one law. Then we'll be sitting and waiting for them to come and interpret a case. Let the people be charged. If they think there is against them, they go to the court and we take it there. For me, that's what I think. That's their job given them. If they don't do it right, we're going to hold them responsible. And somebody break up saying that I don't know what they took that boycott shit. No, there's nothing like any boycott shit. Let me tell somebody, I have come here and criticized what boycott has done wrong. I'm not here to support an individual. I'm here to support Liberians. So it is nothing. I'm not working for Boycott. I'm not getting any support from him. I have never sent any a CV to anybody to say I want a job, or even whisper to anybody that I want a job in Liberia. I was there in Liberia for the inauguration. I was there. I spent some time before coming here. I never whispered to anybody that I want a job. I'm doing it because I want Liberia to be good for every one of us. Like the few times I went to Liberia, it was okay, we went around, even though people were suffering, but you could see at least there was a little hope in their eyes and their faces. That's some hope. Then the previous time I went there. And that's all we want to see. Let hope again, let a good life again come to our people. That's all. And I want to say thank you all so much. It was a pleasure being here tonight. And we are here to listen to one another's view and make all necessary correction. Don't sit there and say I'm an opposition. Anything wrong, go to Liberia. It's going to happen to any of our family or parents anywhere in Liberia. We always want to see the downfall of the next government. When we are gotten in power, even though I didn't support I never thought against until we had the 2019 election that were coming. Before, for me. But I see the Omen didn't even get in position and start talking about it. Omen failed. Why would you think you were minor because you think you lost election? Wait and see. If certain things and I'm done certain period of time, okay, now you start bringing your cries out, and then we look after you what you have to say. But other than that, you guys are the ones still crying. You're crying for the election result. The defeat is still covering your eyes. But I say, all of you should stop this cry and let come to develop Liberia. You see something wrong? Hey, for me, I'm not against somebody coming to say something against what is wrong. We do the wrong thing and we correct our steps and move on.
Okay, thank you so much. We already out here. So Jerry.
Thank you so much. Good night. Have a pleasant night.
Okay. So yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we'll discuss it. We'll discuss it over the air. We'll discuss it over the air. That's fine. But look, listen. In all sincerity.
Yeah, but before you make it, I want to tap into your. Oh, the doctor is calling. There's no way. It's better late than never. Let me tap into your background, security background. Dr. Jones, welcome. We are hearing you. Now, here we are. My assumption, I assume with the actions of the court, it means something was done. And you kind of like allude here, but you try to be the fixer, and I know where you are coming from because you can undo the devil out when you have to dress that devil for the carnival. Now the party is on. But on a serious note, do you think this committee should constitute other components, security apparatus, different agencies of government to coordinate? And that's what I was coming from, to coordinate, because I mean, come on, we all know that you can't just get and go tell people this property. These things can end up making a government to be a victim in the sense that people can it become maybe Liberia, Africa, people can end up suing the government or state. We see how things happen here, and they pay for nothing crazy money, because when you do that to people and you don't do your due diligence to have everything, and you just hear one side and with emotions and different things because you want to get your base excited, you want to get things done quickly and fastly, then it becomes a problem. With this here, do you think the government going to, not the government, this committee going to kind of like take a step back to say, okay, we need to have X, Y, Z. We need to have this apparatus. We need to have this apparatus, and go as far, even going to banking institutions. There are people who owe money in the collaterals. When they do not pay, it becomes a burden on government. So this is a very huge thing, but people just jump quickly because they wanted to be reactionary.
You see, here's the thing. The problem here is a simple thing that we're supposed to do and we're not doing it. And we know we're supposed to do it and we deny ourselves the basic right. The problem that we have in our country, our birth country, is a system. It's a system. Let me borrow Mr. Clinton. System is stupid. If we had a system in place, if we had a system in place, we had nothing to fatigue about. Yeah, there is a reason. Look, the president gave executive order, and before you execute it, there's a team should have been assembled from all walks of life: accounting, forensic, police, you name it. These are the people who do all. You see, just what happened. We have investigation and we have interrogation. Investigation is, I have collected all my data and I read to confirm you. Then there's an interrogation that I've bringing you to the police station and say, where were you yesterday? How you got this car? How you this? I have gotten all my evidence, every information I need. Then it began an interrogation. But if we can get a system, and the second thing, we have to let the system work. The third thing, we got to trust the system. But if the system is not working and we have different view on the system, that's a problem we are facing, my brother. It doesn't mean we don't have competent people, but we have to put a system in place. You myself in this country, the system. If a policeman charge you wrongly, she or he will go to court.
Let's put it, let's put cap on this whole conversation here, because Dr. Jones, the one of the independent voices, most of the time we think the same way. Now you, Terry, and the liberal and all of that here. Let's put a cap on the head. You think something went wrong and that needs to be fixed, correct?
Of course. I'm not denying it. There's
But
something,
that was not your argument.
yeah, no, something happened, something. Somewhere, look, you cannot just get and go straight to the Supreme Court. What triggered to go to the Supreme Court? Something might have triggered to go to the Supreme. What is the urgency? Okay? What is the urgency? They call it the real sanctuary. The word sanctuary is that somebody's right have been violated, and for that reason, it has no precedent. Then they say, okay, we're going straight to the Supreme Court. Okay, for example, like Donald Trump right now, immediately, it never happened before. So the Supreme Court had to step in. So the question here is, why trigger for it to go straight to the Supreme Court? Because first of all, they got to go through the judicial process. You have to file a complaint to the criminal court, say from there go to the Superior Court, from Superior Court before it can go to the Supreme Court.
In so one day? Just in one day?
No, not in one day. It's a process. That's why I say it's a process.
But it happened overnight.
Thank you. But what I say, if it's the writ of sanctuary, I mean, if something is happening and there's no precedent, it goes straight to the Supreme Court. You don't have to go through the process. And stuff like that. That's what I'm talking about.
All right. Thank you so much. Dr. Jones?
Yes, sir.
It's better late than never. I guess the dial got caught up in something here. The liberal was all on you here, but we managed to contain him. So he forcibly departed this program without ending it. But he has his body then. Terry here is now, and Terry and Mr. Bacon, they are able here to, standing strong and tall, defending the liberal. But interestingly, the liberal broke ring with them. So, and the liberal called them out. So I'm not sure how their relationship gonna go moving forward, but nothing guaranteed with the liberal. So let's hear you. I guess you've been following our song.
What are the swing voters? We are the swing voters.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah. First of all, I want to extend my greetings to the liberal disciples.
The disciples.
And the Daha who continue to stand our ground as independent.
Yeah, I just wanted to weigh in a little bit about this Supreme Court and the Executive Action Committee setup. You see, we got to be very mindful in our country. I think the rescue team on this particular issue is on the wrong trajectory. The issue of asset recovery, that is started with Joe Weir. He refused to continue it. And the focus then was the money that, Liberian money that was stolen and languishing around the world, including houses, embassies, people's souls. That was the fundamental focus. But Georgia decided to let it go for some reason also today. I don't know. So when I heard that the president was coming back with this thing, it was a good thing. But this is what that went wrong. Going after these little tabarukas in the town there, I don't know what I got this. I don't know what I got. I mean, those bablaka in the town there, I don't know what it should be the priority right now. Because the priority right now is the GSA has the constitutional power to get inventory of government cars and missing cars and even people who took cars illegally. It is the constitutional responsibility of GSA. What the rescue team is doing in there, what the executive order is even going around that particular area. The asset recovery is no money that languishing in the U.S. all over the place. This is the thing we need to be going after. So if the Supreme Court came in, I read out Supreme Court stuff today. All right?
Everything, Bobby.
Yeah, according to stuff. And my brother, panelist, Collins, I mean, he get a detailed historical analysis of the executive order. But some executive order themselves can be abusive legally. So I'm beginning to wonder, what are the lawyers that are helping the pape in the executive mansion?
Oh, boy.
Are they doing their homework? Or they just want to exploit him because of his age factor? Or they have seen the government to be an elephant meat? Because there are a lot of missteps coming in right now. So the decision the Supreme Court today took, it was not a wrong decision at all. The only portion I agree with Mr. Barker is that to go to the Supreme Court, you must have traveled so many other areas before finally you can go to the Supreme Court, because Supreme Court will hear the verdict of the lower court to render decision. So I agree with you 100%. The best thing you can think is your real time. That's very wrong. All right? So my suggestion here is that normally when executive order are passed, either someone shouldn't check this, or someone shouldn't pass the rule, or I give it the authority to the person to do this one. But when an executive order is passed, where taxpayer money is hanging around it, it's a problem. Parliament will have to talk something about that. Where is the money coming from to pay this and recovery committee that is set up? They got to get paid. They got to be paid monthly. And it's taxpayer money that coming in. The president don't have the power to take taxpayer money and get dispensed illegally. No. Parliament will have to give him that authority. And there are other ways you also get executive order that does not involve anything like money. Not at all. And so it move on, it happens. But that particular one is a committee staff. The people are supposed to be on salary. They need cars. They need facilities. They need a whole lot of things. They need offices. All right? So the question now is, who paid them? Parliament got to come in. So that whole thing was wrong, to be very frank with you. It was just wrong. GSS should go after these cars, not executive order. And the asset recovery we're talking about is overseas, too many money from Jasper time, the heading time, all the property around. People sold embassy, some people even living inside according to sources. Those are the things we want to recover right now. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you put it into. You want to say something? I think you put it into context, and with this whole asset recovery, and what was the other controversial thing where there's a statute of limitation? You can go only 5 years, 6 years. You can't go to. That is just a recipe of sort of wrong practices and bad governance. In as much you want to go 15, 20 years, we must also go back. There were some people who also abuse. This is where the economic crime kicks in. We can say, and these people still around. So because they did it, so they did it 5, 10 years ago now, we should let them walk scot-free. I don't think so. I don't think terror want to see that. It must be done across the board. There's no old crime, there's no new crime. When these people did these things, they must be held accountable. Guys, we want to thank you so much. And I think that's what, and this is the challenge I'm looking for now from the rescue. You know, you want to be audit, you can be selective. Yeah, you must account for your past history as well.
Yeah.
You say you want to do,
I agree with you.
You say you want can't start from it. Definitely, if I was a sedition or any other person out of the box, they would say yes, because there were things that happened on your watch. Helen Johnson Sally broke down the car and she said she took responsibility. That responsibility, national government was saying compensated. She got her $5 more million from the Ibrahim Award. How much did she give to the government of Liberia? Zero. They're still working free. So we should leave that one and we just talk to the one of yesterday.
But are the legislature supposed to enact a law that will extend it?
This is where we need to call them out.
Yes.
If they mean business, this is where we need to call them out. And I don't think they have the balls to do that because some of them tie with those past things. So they don't want to be called into both. They don't want to call into question, including even a certain president. And you know, you can tell us you were just parking for us to take that. The issue of vice presidency and when people argue that I don't agree with it is, it's ceremonial. Hell no, that's not no ceremonial. You are capable to conduct the affairs of the country if the president is incapacitated. So where you come from with your own ceremonial thing? I don't agree with that.
It's a chill position, Mr. So. You can hear what Jeremiah Kuhn.
We're not going to go there tonight because
it's a chill position. It's just a position to just flex and enjoy yourself. That's all.
That's the beauty of politics. I mean, if you're not here, forget it. By the time you enter, even if you were like all the little chihuahua that was the Dara Dillon and Yama they were talking, then you hear there. Look, power, anybody who tells you that they don't want to get within the proximity of power, they lie to you. That's a big damn lie. You give me a chance, I want to be president. You there, they give you a chance.
And myself won't be vice president right near you too.
Get there. You don't have to put anything. It will come to you. You know how.
Right.
Gentlemen, thank you.
But that's the truth, Mr. Su.
I think, those people, I think if they want to do it, I remember we hosted Serena Cephas, and the conversation was so ridiculous. The money they were using to spend to recover is more than what they're going to get.
Wow.
What sense does that make? You spend billions of dollars and then you get $1,000.
Don't you know the budget for the recovery
is there? Don't get me wrong.
You're forgetting the figure, but there's a lot of money.
How extensive that's going to be? I mean, it's a long work because some of these people get it out of the country. You don't just want to get out there. You don't just want to jump to Cote d'Ivoire. You don't just want to jump to America. You have to go through a process and all kinds of bureaucracy and blah blah blah. You don't just want to have your way. So it's very strategic. What they wanted to do, they should have done their due diligence, go to these various banks, get something, some sort of subpoena, to get some sort of document through a legal process. Because when that happens, then you have a ground to stand for which you can execute those orders. But people just get and wear Home Depot scanning jacket, see the car in your pocket, you see the car in your pocket.
Because the people have already received the order. The order empowered the mayor already. the
who
man
get
the
the
power.
order? The president?
The executive order give the man the power.
But they undercut the work of the Asset Recovery Commissions that is there to charge, so that way there's no proper coordination. That's why we have in these things. But I think I'm happy now. The court systems more or less try to be independent and challenging the executive branch.
You see, everybody is praising the court when without investigating whether the action of the court was right.
It's not a matter of
because we believe the Supreme Court is never wrong.
Let me just give you a breaking news. Go ahead.
Arbiter that interprets the law. If I'm going wrong here, the court don't have to wait until people are summarily executed before they come.
The court can be wrong, Mr. So.
Of course,
the court can be wrong.
You can be challenged, but in this instance, I'm quite sure the court, if the court wasn't going to be wrong by this time, the government will issue a position. They have not issued a position. They have not said anything to have.
Well, they got lawyers that reviewing the process.
Oh,
we want to respect. We want to respect the three branches of government.
Let me give you the breaking news. I read in the article, corrupt judicial system in Liberia.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bacon. I'm going to support you.
You did a lot of beautiful writings and all of that. I don't know what Helen Johnson said. They even learn from that. And the guy you support, do you think they're going to learn something from that?
Well, I mean, this is in the public. At least there are other students from different universities. I contacted me to use my research and all the things. So it's still making contribution.
Yeah,
so
I support you on that article, Mr. Bacon.
Yeah, it's coming up soon. It's almost finished. Coming up soon. We'll draw some bond share in our country.
Yes, they need it.
I don't want brother. I know my child.
Oh, so they can't eat baby.
Wow. I know about you. You know what? I always used to say, I don't want brother anymore. You can't hear.
We know the history of these people here. When they said, you think why I'm calling him Russians? Those are the people that we can make and talk all. So let it not go.
I know it's coming up soon. It'll be from British Africa. They're coming up soon.
Okay.
We'll
be watching to see.
He left, Mr. Bacon?
Yeah.
Have you spoken with the president?
Which president?
How many presidents do we have? President Boyka?
We got President Joseph Biden here. Then we got President Macron. We got President, so I don't know which of the president you're talking about.
President Joseph Newman Boyka of the Republic of Liberia.
That one is confidential between the president and myself.
Yeah, right, bro, man. I know when you start going to Macron there, I knew that the answer that will come. Okay, guys, thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. So. Have a good night.
I'll be seeing you in a couple of weeks again. Okay, Dr. Male.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for chipping in.
Thank you.
Okay, folks, that's how we're going to wrap the curtain of this evening here. Thank you so much for your time, your comments, your interactions, your suggestions. We usually go back to these comments. It's a learning process. Again, we want to say thank you to everyone that reached out to us during this bereavement process. The process is still on, but we really appreciate the overwhelming support that you have shown so far. And in a couple of weeks, we'll be going back to Minnesota to lead our father, our brother, our uncle to rest. Let's bring you this obituary announcement.
One want to interrupt this interlude of music to bring you this obituary announcement from the New England Bureau of the Liberia Public Radio. Sunrise, January 27, 1958. Sunset, March 22nd, 2024. It is with great sadness that we announce the passing of our beloved father, husband, grandfather, brother, uncle, cousin, Jerry Zia. This sudden event occurred on the morning of March 22nd, 2024, at his home in Ramsey, Minnesota, USA. He leaves to mourn his beloved wife, Lancourt Annette Urit Zia, his children, Geraldine Zia Adams, Ninety Talit Zia, Pa Zia, Florence Salive, Bianca Zia, and Gerald Zia, his sibling Wosint Zia, Samuel Zia, Aranold Zia, Helenont Zia, his grandchildren Selenant Kotu, Emmett Adams, Jermaine Adams, Shawinant Adams, Amoyat Zia, and Iranian Zia, in addition to nieces, nephews, cousins, and in-law. He is predeceased by his parents, Bokos Zia and Rube Zia of the Republic of Liberia, his brothers, Joseph Zia and Josiah Zia. The homegoing celebrations are planned for the weekend of April 26 and 27 in Minnesota, USA. This obituary announcement was brought into Liberia Public Radio by the widow of the deceased, Lancourt Annette Urit Zia, and children.
Well, that's how we're going to wrap up here this evening. He was a traditionalist, a very social person. That Sunday, I remember we go for conventions, be on the county or district level. That his favorite sons, one of the funniest traditional singer. You will see him dancing. And we were missing. He was a caring person, and our prayers and thought out to the wife, the kids, and everybody. And so it is why it is. We just have to go through it. But I want to thank all of you for those of you who've been reaching out, even just by commenting on the picture, sending the emojis of condolence, whatever it is. We really, really appreciate that. Keep the family in prayer. The wife, the children, and all of them. They are hanging in there. And we really want to say a big thank you to the folks in Minnesota. He been there for the long years. And I think that sort of a relationship was really built. Their support is amazing. Always in and out his church, and all of those folks that are out there. Until then, by God's willing, we'll be back here Sunday for more informative news programs as well. Liberia Public Radio will be in Minnesota. We're going to be bringing you live coverage to honor Jerry. The late Zia served as chairman of the board of directors of our own district bars and district association. Where our president Zian Port, good evening, those former leader of the community as well. We will be there the weekend, 26-27 weekend in Minneapolis, Minnesota, to bring you live coverage, his homegoing celebration that LPR. This year, it's just been a sort of horrible year. This is other young man, and Vincent Reeves. Vincent Reeves formerly served as the chapter president of the Baltimore chapter of the Grand Gate Association. He served as district and near associations in the USA as well, Development Association. He too will be laid to rest the 12th and 13th weekend of April in Baltimore, right here in USA. Liberia Public Radio will also be there to bring you live homegoing celebrations of Vincent Peter Reeves who passed away a couple of weeks ago in Atlanta, Georgia. But most of the family brothers are in Baltimore, so the remains is currently in Baltimore, and this is where his celebrations of his life will be taking place. Until then, folks, we want to say it. Thank you so much for sharing your event with us. By God's willing, we're going to be back here at some point in time for more news, information, and entertainment. Until then, have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye.
Shitty, I love you. Yeah, yo. Yeah, yo. Yeah, yo. Madame Ode Maribette, Benjou, Charlotte. I was there.